Do the words mixed media scare you? Well, today I'm going to show you how easy and fun it is to add a touch of mixed media to your next project, and you're going to love it. Hi there, welcome to today's video. Natalie here to show you how easy you can add a touch of mixed media to your next project. I have pulled some elements from the latest release, and I want to show you a fun idea on, in this case I'm going to create the cover for one of my journals. So I'm going to start with a really heavy cardstock. This is a 140-pound cardstock. I wanted something smooth, and I am bringing the watercolor refill bottles. I have Mountain Mist, which is that greenish tone, and Dusk, and just a few drops is all I'm gonna need. So you're gonna see that I put it on my palette, and I'm using one of the artist watercolor brushes. I'm using the flat one because I want to create the large stroke. My idea is I want to cover my entire piece of cardstock with the watercolor. In this case, I'm starting by mixing the colors. You're gonna see that I'm mixing a lot of the green, the misty mountain, the mountain mist, with a little bit of the dusk. It's gonna give me kind of a tealish tone, and then slowly I'm gonna introduce more of the dusk refill so that the tone is gonna get a little bit darker. There's not that much of a difference unless you really carefully see it, but you're gonna see that I'm just going to apply the color. I've added a little bit of water to the pigment because it's kind of really saturated, so I want to tone it down and create this wash of color on my cardstock. And for that I'm using the flat brush, and I'm going just on one way on my cardstock. So I'm going from the left hand side of the cardstock to the right. Even if the paint, I don't have enough to complete the page, is okay. I'm gonna come back after I've filled my entire side and just fill the other side the same way. Because I am using watercolor and the same brush, the lines kind of melt together, and you'll see a few strikes, brush strokes, but you won't see that definition. It pretty much looks like a wash. That's pretty much what I'm creating, a wash of color on my cardstock. So before I'm not gonna set it to dry. I'm actually gonna continue working. All I'm gonna do right now is using another one of the brushes from the set. I'm just gonna use the leftover pigment, the watercolor refill that I have on my palette, just to sprinkle some splatters on the right hand side of my page. Right away I'm gonna sprinkle some water. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit, and then I'm gonna come in with a paper towel and soak up the excess. What the water is gonna do is just soak up some of that pigment, give you that bleach distress effect. So you have that wash, then you have that splatters of color, and then you have that distress kind of bleach effect. So now I make sure that it dry completely, and then I'm gonna come with my next layer of mixed media. For this I am using the new pigment inks. I am using Caribbean Sky and my small ink blending brush, and I'm going to create the impression of the Lacy tiles stencil right at the bottom right corner of my page. And then I'm going to use Persian blue to create again a little corner, the top right corner of my paper. I don't want to fill the entire page. I just want a little bit to pick on the background. Now I want to add a little bit of texture, so I'm using the translucent pearl crisp embossing powder just to apply it in certain areas. So you're gonna see that you're barely gonna notice it up close, but up close you feel the bubble, you see the little shine. That's all I want. I don't want to cover the entire page. So once I apply my translucent powder, I'm just gonna heat it. I'm gonna make sure that I heat the entire page so my pigment ink becomes permanent. Once that's ready, I'm gonna continue working, and for this I'm actually gonna use, this is the Modern Hello stamp set, and I want to use the darkest color of ink that was just released. This is Sapphire. So I'm gonna stamp the word hello right on the center of my page, and I'm gonna again add translucent pearl powder, crisp powder from Altenew, just because I want to make sure that the color just kind of shines. Now I'm gonna use the Modern Alphabet stamp set to stamp the word June, so the letters June, and I'm gonna use actually Caribbean Sky because it's the lightest color of blue to apply the word June underneath the hello. And once I have the letters ready, I'm actually gonna emboss that, but I'm gonna emboss it with crisp antique gold powder from Altenew, and you're gonna see that when I put the gold powder, I'm gonna make sure that it rolls a little bit towards the bottom of the word hello. That's just gonna create a nice soft mix of the two embossing powders. Once I have that ready, I'm gonna heat it with my heat gun, just to make sure that the embossing powder melts and it becomes permanent with the ink. That is all it's gonna take for my title. Now I want to create an embellishment. I already have all these textures, so I'm gonna go ahead and create something that is gonna add movement. For that, I'm gonna use the Dovetail Butterflies Die Set, and I'm gonna bring actually more of the pigment ink. I'm gonna use buttercream to stamp the entire body of the butterfly. Then I'm gonna use Obsidian black ink to create the outline of the butterfly, and then I'm gonna go back to Persian blue to create some of the details, and then paperback to add more of the little reddish accent of the butterfly. Once it's all stamped, I'm actually gonna go ahead and add some of the translucent pearl crisp embossing powder, just because I want to bring that shine that I already have on my page. My background is really matte, so I want, like, you know, those the title and the butterfly to have that shine, so it emphasizes that. Once I have that, I'm gonna take it to my die cutting machine. I have the coordinating die, and just cut it. And then you're gonna see that when I stamped the word June, I did it a little bit on an offset, so that gives me the perfect placement for my butterfly. I'm just gonna add a little bit of foam adhesive behind it, not a really shallow one, not that thick. But before I attach my butterfly, I'm gonna add a little bit of antique gold metallic ink spray. I just want a little bit of that shine on the background, but I'm gonna apply it, and right away I'm actually gonna pick up the excess of liquid with my paper towel, so you're left with this faded look of shine in the background. So it looks like it's actually eaten away, which is pretty much what my background looks like. So once I have that, I'm actually gonna go ahead, make sure that I attach my butterfly to the side of the J, and then I'm just gonna come in once again with the metallic spray, just to add a few more accents around the butterfly. I want to make sure that I accent that area, so you're gonna see that I'm gonna be more careful to add bigger splatters, and then I'm gonna soak up the excess liquid, and that's about it. Super simple mixed media. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you try it. As always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Remember to check the blog and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care, guys.
Hello crafters, Jen here. For more tips, techniques, tutorials, and to discover which paper crafting products are right for you, subscribe to Altenew's YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Thanks for watching.